Winter is starting to set in. The Delta is getting to be a little bit of a lonely place. We're starting the winter grind. It's not here yet. People are still catching fish. We got a good report, and I'll tell you what, I've had the grandkids last week, and right now I am all jacked up on Pop-Tarts and Captain Crunch cereal, and I'm ready to get in and give you guys a great report. So let's just do it. Let's get into the report. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. This is the In Deep on the Delta weekly report for the week of December 12th. And let's start off with a little river business. And I don't want to beat this golden mussel situation that we're having here to death, but I do want to give a bit of information. We've got the golden mussel. It's an invasive species. It's here on the Delta. The Delta has been considered a toxic body of water, and you should expect when you go to any lake in Northern California that they are going to do a boat inspection. Now, this is an evolving situation, and my recommendation to anybody fishing Northern California, before you go to a lake, any lake, call and make sure that you're going to be able, that number one, the lake is open, and number two, that you need to get information on how to be in compliance with what they're looking for as far as your boat being clean, dry, maybe banded, maybe professionally cleaned or detoxed. You're going to have to do it. Sorry guys, if you go up and you get to these lakes and they turn you away, you're going to be not so happy. So do your homework. Before you go up to any lake, give them a call, make sure they're open, and make sure you're going to be able to comply with the requirements that they are going to demand for you to launch your boat in any lake in Northern California. We're going to stop with that right now. We're going to get into the actual report. So this weekend, December 15th, the Bass Hole Team Circuit Tournament will be coming around. That's going to be out at Russo's. You guys know the drill. Come on out, fish a great, fun local tournament. Get yourself a chance to maybe win a little bit of money, and you keep your chops up for what's going to be coming up here this spring as far as tournament anglers. If you have any questions, call Rob out at the Bass Hole, and that is 925-813-9485, and that's going to be December 15th. That's all I got for local business here, so let's get into the report. And let's start off with the report from Clear Lake. I've been telling you I'm going to be doing more and more reports for Clear Lake and the mother lode, especially as we get into winter here on the Delta and things start to shut down a little bit. I have been in contact with Clear Lake Outdoors, and I'm expecting to go up there in the next week or so, do a little video. Maybe you guys can meet the guys that are working up there so you can put a face to the name when I talk about some of the people that I'm getting my information from. So I talked with Dave. Dave's the owner, and Clear Lake, the bite right now is still on. It's quality more than quantity. There was an 11.8 weighed in this week, and I'm going to be honest with you. Dave said, you know, if you go up there, you can expect to catch fish, but it is a big advantage to have forward-facing sonar. The guys that are really doing it up there are really relying on forward-facing sonar. They're fishing deep cranks. They're fishing single paddle tail swim baits. They're fishing A-rigs. They're fishing over rock piles, and they're catching some nice quality fish. I also know that the crappie bite has been outstanding up there. A few of my friends have been going up there catching crappie. So right now, Clear Lake is it's still kicking along. Don't expect to catch big numbers of largemouth bass, but you can go out there and really catch some nice fish. So that is the report from Clear Lake Outdoors, and I want to thank Dave for taking time to give me that report. Let's get into the Delta. We'll talk a little bit about river conditions, then we'll get right into the stripers and the largemouth bass. I'm getting reports from anywhere from 48 to 52 degree water temps, 2 to 4 foot visibility pretty much anywhere around the delta. There's going to be some places where there's 1 to 2 feet. There's, you get in the backs of some of these sloughs, you're going to get a little better clarity. There's a lot of floating debris out there, and they're starting to show some pretty good sized logs coming down. I was out Monday or Tuesday, and along with that floating debris, there was some nice little chunks coming down. So be careful when you're out there. There's been lots of fog. As you can see, this morning is pretty darn foggy. I think once you get away from Paradise Point here, it's going to be kind of pea soup for a while. So watch the fog and just be careful out there. Let's talk a little bit about stripers. I was talking to Jeff Suhu from Suhu Sport Fishing. He was telling me the striper fishing for him slowed down after we had that last rain a couple weeks ago. He fishes out more on the Sacramento side out there. He's reporting that it's still kind of cloudy water. The stripers are hard to find. He is expecting that as soon as the water conditions clear up a little bit, he is expecting that the fish are going to show up and he's going to be out guiding again. Now, if you want to call Jeff and get the information on what he does out here, and if you like to set up a trip, call Jeff at 925-899-4045, and that's Jeff Suhu from Suhu Sport Fishing. And he's obviously Jeff is primarily a striper fisherman and one of the best out there. He does a lot of bait fishing, and he'll put fish in the boat for you. I also talked to Joey Price from Priceless Fishing. He's been fishing the Central Delta primarily for stripers, and he also reports that it's been slow. He's been fishing out around Disco and in and up and down, that area, catching a few fish, but it's been slow. He's still out there working hard at it, and that is Joey Price from Priceless Fishing. If you want to call Joey, give him a call at 925-813-9485. Maybe the best striper report that I've gotten is from my friend Eddie out at Fishing King, and he is the Fishing King. He went out to King Island the other day, fishing the main channel, and I'll tell you the visibility on the main channel right around Paradise Point has not been good. It's probably 2 to 3 feet. I was reporting last week, the week before, that we were getting a nice 3 to 5 feet, 4 or 5 feet visibility. That is clouded up, and a lot of vegetation floating around right down there in the Central Delta. But Eddie from the Fishing King, he's been fishing the main channel. He was out, I think, Monday, fished for 3 or 4 hours, 7 o'clock to 11 a.m., had 7 fish from 4 to 10 pounds. His key for success was fishing bright colors and fishing super slow. He was fishing moving water, current breaks, same, probably fishing all the inlets on the channel where we all fish. He's thrown a wood bomber and a sneaky Pete and flukes. And like I said, his report, he stated that he just had to really slow down and really kind of just let them fish, find the bait and eat it. Fishing too fast just wasn't doing anything for him. So I want to thank Eddie for sending me reports every week. I know he's out here every week, sometimes a couple times a week, and he's a normal guy out here fishing with his family. And I think if Eddie's catching fish, you guys can probably come out here and catch a few fish too. So thanks a lot, Eddie. Let's get into the largemouth bass. And the largemouth bass, I'm not going to say is shutting down out here, but it is slowing down. And I think one of my best reports of the week came from Keith from Free Spooling. And generally Keith is fishing out of a kayak, and he's fishing the South Central Delta. He was out both Friday and Monday, and he's experiencing 10 to 15 fish days on his trips. Keepers up to about 4 pounds. He's looking for moving water, purely finesse. He's throwing chatterbaits, crankbaits, jerkbaits, Bubba shot. What he's finding there in the South Central is 49 to 52 degree water temps, 1 to 4 foot of visibility, lots of bait, and lots of crappie in the backs of sloughs. So I don't know exactly where he's fishing, but if you're in the Central Delta, I would start looking in the backs of these sloughs. And his best bite has been later in the day. I want to thank Keith from Free Spooling for sending in that report. Also talked to Vince. He's been fishing out around Big Break, and he's been catching some fish, primarily in chatterbaits, fishing in sparse grass. He's seeing 47-degree water temps out there with 4 or 5 feet of visibility. That's out at Big Break. He had a day last week, he had 22 bass, 1 keeper striper in a 3-hour session. So there are days when you can get in and find that bite, but those bite windows are fewer and farther between, and the fish are really, it seems that the guys that are going out daily that I have been talking to have been struggling. They're catching a few fish here and there. The fish seem to be holding in vegetation, real tight to vegetation. Dock fishing is starting to pick up, and I think that that's what's going to be coming down the road for the next couple months until we start getting some weather that perks up and maybe the water temperatures start to rise. How cold will the water get? It depends on the winter. We're getting that 47, 48 degree. I would imagine it's going to get down between 45 and 46 degrees, and that's going to be when the fishing really comes to a grind here, at least for the largemouth bass. So with that being said, be safe when you go out there. If you want to fish stripers, slow down, fish brighter colors, fish moving water. If you're going to fish the largemouth, again, slow down, get in that cover. I think worms and drop shot and jigs are going to really come into play. I'm not ready to do that just yet. When I start going out again next week, I'm going to be throwing A-rigs, I'm going to be throwing jerk baits, I'm going to be throwing chatterbaits. I still want to keep moving a little bit and see if I can get some of those fish to react. And I'll give that a couple days, and if I can't catch fish doing that, then I'm going to break out all my worm and stuff and my slow gear, and maybe put the seat up in the front deck and just go out and fish areas thoroughly, slowly, methodically, and try to catch a few fish to keep me happy until we get through this winter grind. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you do go out, it's really important to send in your reports because as I said, it's getting to be a lonely place out here. There were 3 cars in the parking lot here at Paradise Point this morning, so my hat's off to those guys for getting up, coming out here on an extremely foggy day and giving it a try. And that's important. Just being out here is half the battle. If you're going to catch something, you're going to catch something. If you're not, you're not. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Send in your reports if you come out. And until next week, be safe and go out there and have some fun, catch a few fish. See you next week.